the disposal plan, and they can select and can also express interest in terms of the items that an entity is willing to dispose. The other module is the Eliverse auction, and in Eliverse auction, this is an online process where suppliers can compete by viewing other suppliers' bids and progressively lowering their bids so that they can be awarded a contract. Meaning that if I want to buy a computer, the entity will provide the specification, and the suppliers can now bid when the bids are viewed, and then they can be able to lower. You're given an opportunity to adjust your price that you want to sell that commodity, and then this brings the price down, and the entity can pick the least price and award a contract. The other is the e-catalog and what we call now the e-marketplace, which is also a revolutionary module where the suppliers, we mentioned that the suppliers will be having a good profile, and then they can be able to create a catalog, and when they create a catalog, they are able now to upload the items that they are willing to sell to the government. And then these requiring the light registration, the entities can view and analyze, do an analysis of that module, and automatically issue a direct order to those entities. As I conclude, I see that I'm having a challenge with the system processing. I will request, we have a desk here, we can be able to view, and if you are interested in more functionalities of the system, we have a team here of the EGP team, we are willing to take you through the system. But as I also conclude, I need also to mention the key, the technical aspects of this, the system. One is the system is developed on open source, making it much easier to maintain, and also the support. The EGP licenses are perpetual, reducing the annual support and also the maintenance cost for the national treasury. To allow for the seamless flow of information among the various PFM systems, the EGP system will be configured to integrate specifically on IFMIS and other ERPs, that is the Enterprise Resource Planning system, used by other government entities. And this, to give an example, is that when a budget is approved, irrespective of the government entity, this will be loaded immediately to the EGP system, where the controls are supposed to be put such that only the budgeted item are procured for. So when you push the budget to the EGP system, then you are able now to create an annual procurement plan based on that budget that has been approved. So integration will also assist in terms of monitoring and also the payment processes. We have been working with our pilot entities, and in this we have received positive feedback. And part of the positive feedback that we have received is the user-friendliness of this system. And it indicates that even after training the common mwananchi or the Kenyans at the grassroots level, they can be able to use the system without difficulties. The system can be accessed through a commonly used web browsers that have been installed in the devices, and it can be accessed through the link www.egpkenya.go.ke. So we are looking forward, as mentioned. I placed the long button in monitoring this system to ensure that the system is available for the public entities, ensuring that the security is maintained, and we provide the light SLAs for entities that we are partnering in terms of the integration, because we note that it can also be very much, and I invite you at the end of the session, we have a team that can assist you to look at the functionality of the system, and also if there are any questions in regard to the system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bwana Kanyinyi. Let us appreciate him better. And let us also appreciate Director Korir. I think from the Treasury team, we appreciate that you've been able to take us through a step-by-step kind of guidance on the functionalities and the features of the EGP system. which is highly appreciated. I think on behalf of procurement and supply chain professionals, Honorable CS, we are ready. We have been sensitizing the practitioners. They relate, they're ready to embrace and apply the technology as we advance public procurement systems in the country. So we appreciate the National Treasury for taking us through the sourcing features, the contracting features, the transactional features, and analytical features. I think what is very unique about this system, because other countries like Georgia, Rwanda, Korea have tried to use a similar system, is the performance management feature, which I think the government is very keen on based on what we have witnessed in the recent past, and we will be keen to learn, embrace, and apply the system moving forward. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we want to recognize another key partner in the supply chain pentagon, and that is the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority. We talk about the supply chain pentagon because the National Treasury is the custodian of policy. The Public Procurement Regulatory Authority that is about to talk to us is responsible for processes. The Kenya Institute of Supplies Management, where I serve, is responsible for regulating the practitioners. The Kenya Institute of Supplies Examinations Board is responsible for examinations. And then lastly, the Public Procurement Administrative Review Board is responsible for disputes. So that is the web, and that's why we work very, very closely together in a very unified and integrated approach when it comes to promotion of service delivery in the space of public procurement. So I want at this juncture to invite the representative of the Director General of Public Procurement Regulatory Authority to make the remarks on behalf of the DG. Welcome, Madam Rose. Let us appreciate Madam Rose while she's coming.
Good morning. I'm here, as I have mentioned, on behalf of our Director General, Patrick Wanjuki. I'm Rose Nyamwea, Director Strategy and Planning. The Cabinet Secretary, the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Honorable FCPA, John Badi, EGH, Cabinet Secretaries present, the Principal Secretary, the National Treasury, Dr. Chris Kipto, CBS, Principal Secretaries present, all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority is established under Section 8 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. The core mandate of PPRA is to regulate public procurement and asset disposal system in Kenya. The strategic focus being to realize efficient and effective public procurement system devoid of malfeasance and one that delivers money, value for money and equity and quality services. Ladies and gentlemen, PPRA is required to monitor and evaluate and report on the overall functioning of the public procurement and asset disposal system in Kenya. As we are all aware, a well-functioning public procurement system has the potential of generating fiscal savings that can shift finances to other strategic public investments. Ladies and gentlemen, in the current operating environment, the manual public procurement operations and where data records are maintained by procuring entities, PPRA has been unable to effectively report on the status of the public procurement system in Kenya, including stating how much is spent through public procurement annually for informed policy advice on reform. This includes undertaking timely regulatory interventions as a prevention to potential loss of public funds through public procurement. Ladies and gentlemen, PPRA therefore views the launch and rollout of the EGP as a transformative and revolutionary undertaking in public procurement in Kenya. This opens a new chapter in our history as pronounced under Article 227 of the Constitution of Kenya. The rollout of EGP provides a platform for effective and real-time regulatory monitoring and intervention, in public procurement operations through enhancing access to quality data and trails on all the operations and processes. Ladies and gentlemen, the authority underscores the need for the EGP system to enhance integrity, accountability, competition, transparency, efficiency, and generate fiscal cost savings. PPRA will continue to support the National Treasury to ensure that the EGP is reliable, available, and accessible to all users all year round. This will build trust in the government and promote uptake by all people participating in the public procurement system. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close, PPRA commits to continue supporting government through the National Treasury to ensure full rollout and use of the EGP by all procuring entities. We appreciate your continual support, and as we ensure an effective and efficient public procurement and asset disposal system that delivers quality services to citizens. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let us appreciate Director Beta. Thank you very much for conveying the commitment of the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority to supporting the government in the rollout of this important system. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, Honorable CS, we want to indulge and recognize the presence of the representative of the Council of Governors, just recognizing. We also recognize the presence of the representative of the Auditor General, just in that manner. And without taking a lot of time, we want to recognize the presence of the chairperson of the Public Procurement Administrative Review Board, Mr. George Mudui. It would be important, with your permission, Honorable CS, to give Mr. Mudui just a minute to say hi to the gathering and make one statement. And thereafter we'll have also the chairperson of the Kenya Institute of Supplies Management to just say a word before we hand it over to the PS to guide us further. Let us welcome Mr. Mudui.
Thank you, CEO, Mr. Kenneth Matiba. Good morning, everyone. It's a rare occasion to stand before such a distinguished convocation, and I greet you all again. Good morning. I did not know I would have this opportunity to speak, so allow me to speak freely. I had penned some notes as the program then was going along. We had been invited to participate in it, Honorable CS, and we are happy, and personally, as a representative of the board, I'm happy to stand before you on this very important day, Honorable CS. So, the Honorable Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Planning, Mr. John Badi, the Honorable Permanent Secretary of the National Treasury and Economic Planning, Dr. Chris Kipto, all permanent secretaries present, Director of Procurement, Mr. Eric Korir, distinguished guests, and not to forget the members of the procurement fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. I am honored and privileged to join you this morning for the official launch of the EGP system, a landmark step in Kenya's public procurement reform journey. His Excellency the President, in his address on the 24th of July 2024, and again in the State of the Nation address on the 21st November 2024, was categorical in calling for the adoption of electronic systems in public procurement. Today, I commend the National Treasury and Economic Planning for being the vanguard and driving this transformation. This is a tremendous milestone in the broader reforms in public finance management and procurement specifically. The implementation of the EGP platform marks a shift from the traditional manual, paper-based system to a more efficient, transparent, accountable, and technology-driven platform. This platform is not merely about digitization. It is about strengthening public trust, reducing inefficiencies, and safeguarding public resources through enhanced transparency and auditability in procurement and disposal processes. As a Public Procurement Administrative Review Board, we are particularly encouraged by the anticipated benefits of the EGP system, which include enhanced standardization of procurement processes, improved compliance with legal and regulatory frameworks, increased efficiency and timelines in procurement cycles, elimination of hard copy documentation, and manual processes. These are not just promises on paper, they are measurable outcomes seen in piloted procuring entities and countries that have already adopted similar systems. Across the continent and the world, e-procurement has shown impressive results. In Rwanda's, the Umusio platform eliminated physical tendering and increased transparency. In Uganda's EGP, it is mandatory for central government and has improved compliance and fairness. In Ghana's GANEPS, enhanced SME participation and lower transaction costs have been witnessed, CS. In South Korea's CONEPS and Chile's COMPRA have drastically reduced costs, eliminated face-to-face lobbying, and empowered suppliers, many of them small enterprises. Kenya is therefore not alone. We join a global movement to modernize procurement for the benefits of its citizens. CS, allow me to pose a thoughtful question, that if the EGP is fully adopted and implemented across procuring entities, will we witness a decline in the number of procurement disputes? At the review board, we frequently adjudicate disputes stemming from non-compliance, procedural errors, and lack of proper documentation. The EGP system, by offering access real-time to data, automated compliance checks, and centralized document management, will go a long way in addressing these challenges with the overall anticipated downturn in procurement disputes. We are especially pleased to note that phase 2 of the EGP rollout includes the e-appeals module, a dedicated case management system for the review board. We welcome this innovation and are eager to see it go live. The National Treasury has already had fruitful engagement with the board secretariat in defining the technical and functional requirements for this module. We pledge our continued collaboration until the system is fully operational and functional. To illustrate just one potential impact, currently, upon filing of a request for review, Honorable CS, upon filing of a request for review, procuring entities have up to 5 days to submit confidential documents. With the EGP system, the review board will be able to access procurement records instantly, thereby significantly reducing time, enhancing efficiency, and improving the quality of our determinations. As a quasi-judicial body, we are committed to aligning our internal procedures and rules with a new electronic framework. The shift to end-to-end electronic procurement will empower the board to adjudicate disputes promptly, fairly, transparently, and judiciously, core values that are central to our mandate under the Constitution and the law. Indeed, this launch marks a transformative moment for Kenya's procurement landscape. Beyond efficiency, the system brings with it the promise of enhanced accountability, equitable access, and a stronger procurement governance regime that protects the public interest. In conclusion, CS, on behalf of the Review Board, I once again congratulate the National Treasury and Economic Planning for this bold and progressive step. We look forward with great anticipation to the rollout of the appeals module, which is to be implemented in the EGP system phase 2. And we assure you of our unwavering support in ensuring the success of the system. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Let us appreciate Chairman. Honorable CS, it was very important because all the appeals that arise from procurement processes are handled at the review board. And I'm very sure even this system will have such instances, and therefore it is good for us to recognize stakeholders present. With that done, we also take this earliest opportunity to apologize on behalf of the National Treasury for the small system bug that affected the display on the screens. We also recognize the presence of the Commissioner General, KRA, and all the accounting officers who are here, who joined us after we started the program. I also recognize the presence of the World Bank representative who is with us in the room. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. John Karani, Chairman of the Kenya Institute of Supplies Management, to make some 1 or 2 comments on behalf of the supply chain professionals. Welcome, Chairman.
Good morning. Where are all the KISI members? Can you lift your hands up, wherever you are? When I see us, that's a testimony that this is a procurement system indeed. I wanted to make sure I acknowledge the members who have come all the way from Busia, from Elgeyo Marakwet, from Wajir, all the way from Mandera, across the country, because this is our system and this is actually our program. So Honorable CS and PS, and riding on all the protocols so far established, I saw my friend PS Julius Korir walking in just now. Karibuni sana. So we as supply chain professionals, I say this without any fear of doubt, of contradiction, that we are the greatest beneficiaries of supply chain professionalization or digitalization, as it were. So we have personally, and Director Korir knows this, personally been at the forefront of championing the rollout of the EGP, and I kept telling Director Korir, the only way to make this happen is for us to partner and join hands together with our professionals. That's the only way to make this thing roll out. And I'm very glad that he has indeed been able to embed KISM as a core partner in this pentagon of the 5 people that we talk about. And we got 3 members in the EGP TOT program, which is really a landmark event that tells us that we are in this together. More importantly, Sir CS, the main thing about the EGP system is the 5 pillars that we just said: transparency, efficiency, cost savings, accessibility, and accountability, which are the hallmark of any procurement professional person. Integrity is the rollout of all those 5 pillars. So for me, we are very keen and we are very supportive of this rollout. It's long overdue. As Director Korir mentioned earlier on, it's 7 years in waiting. My chair was just left here, talked about countries like Rwanda, like Uganda, like who came after us. They just took it up and ran with it, and they implemented it fully. But it's never too late to do the right thing, and I'm glad that we are finally here and really able to roll out what I want to call a proper procurement system. I've been at the forefront of saying nothing against IFMIS, but IFMIS is not procurement. And so for me, to have finally EGP rolling out is for the benefit of our members. It's absolutely the absolute necessity for us to embrace it, integrate it into our procurement system, and let's run with it. With those few remarks, let me say thank you so much for making us a partner in this important journey. We are in this together. Thank you for seeing us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Let us embrace it and let us integrate it in our day-to-day operations as supply chain